All right. Welcome in, everybody. We'll give just a minute or two for everybody to get settled and get into the Zoom. Thank you for hopping on. Anyone who's live, this will be recorded, but we love it when people are live. Put where you're from in the chat, why, how you found out about us, and what enticed you to hop on this particular Zoom call. I'm Janice Jakes. I'm the owner and founder of the Fitness Fest Conference and Expo. We have an annual event in April in Phoenix, Arizona. This is our 29th annual event, which is just crazy. And this year is just going to be so exciting. And every week at noon, Arizona time, mountain time right now until we switch, we have a Zoom. We talk to our sponsors and our presenters and just what's going to happen and find out more about everybody so that when you get to Fitness Fest, or if you're interested in Fitness Fest, you can feel more at home. We really feel that we're a community. We love everyone to get to know each other and to have fun, and we just really so much believe in live in-person events. And it just, the energy and the vibe and the connections, just I just love it. And I'm not saying that just because I sell it. I go to Idea World every year in person, have for decades. And so that's just, let me lead in with that. We have with Whitney Houlin of WeGym, and then I'll be talking to Ali Christensen. Did I say that right, Ali?
Nailed it.
Okay, with Search Fit, and we're going to be going back and forth, and hopefully you're seeing the three of us spotlighted. We've been working on that. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Whitney Houlin, and I met Whitney at Idea World this past summer, and WeGym is an equipment-based company, and I'll let her explain more. And I saw their huge booth at Idea, and there was all these people flocking there, and it was just so popular. And I'm like, to find out more about this. And of course, Siri Shilazi, who's a great presenter for us, she was, demoing things. And then I also got to pop in your class, Whitney. I think I told you that just for a little bit. I'm like, wow, yep, this girl's the real deal. So she's going to be doing a few workshops at Fitness Fest. WeGym is going to be sponsoring and having their equipment there. And besides Whitney being a great presenter and instructor, what I was really impressed with is there was a presenter party at Idea World at um, at one of the clubs, and Cameron, who is the CEO of WeGym, and you were there, and then I forget the name of the other women, but there were like four or five of you, and we gathered and started chatting, and I just loved that Cameron was so authentic and real and willing to talk to me about what he's all about. And it gives me goosebumps to remember that time, because a lot of times people are not, they're more guarded, and God forbid should we spend any time talking to each other. And I was
Right.
right, I was very impressed by him and his company, and he explained a little bit about how a fairly new company, and how you're really getting the name out there, getting the brand out there. So tell us more about your role with WeGym, the formats that you teach, and how you got started with WeGym.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions. Okay.
Yeah.
So Cameron is our co-founder and vice president. Cami is actually our founder. So WeGym is woman owned, which I absolutely love. And I got started with WeGym, let's see, informally just over 2 years ago. They started with just a couple of products, some mats and our soft kettlebells. Um, and they, only had a few thousand followers on Instagram. They've reached out to me over just DMs on Instagram and asked if I wanted to try out some equipment and be willing to post about it on my Instagram page. And of course, I was like, yeah, those soft kettlebells, what's that? Sure, send them my way. So we ended up working out a little bit of an Instagram collaboration. And I posted for them for a few months, just various workouts to use the equipment for. And then after a few months, they said that they were going to be filming some workouts there in Connecticut, where several of them are based, including Cameron and Cami, and asked if I wanted to come film some workouts for them. And at this point, I hadn't actually talked to anybody or met anybody in person. It was all just through email or DMs. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess like they're good for the money. I've been getting paid, so I'm not like worried about that. So sure, like I'll go out there and do it. And my husband was supportive. He was like, yeah, like what have you got to lose? You might as well. And so I was there for about 3 days, and they weren't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this, but I left with a full-time job offer to work for WeGym. I was an online elementary school teacher. That was my full-time gig, and I was just always doing fitness on the side, teaching like early mornings or night classes. And so, yeah, I really wasn't expecting that, but they knew they were eventually going to need somebody in like a fitness director type of role. Yeah, it's been about 2 years informally, and then it'll be officially 2 years this coming April. So, I have a really fun, unique role with the business, being a fitness company, but I get to weigh in on the fitness professional aspect of everything we do. So whether that's product development or product testing and feedback, weighing in on marketing and like the professional language of fitness, or even the exercise science behind fitness. So I get to do a little bit of everything, and it's no 2 days ever look the same, but it's so much fun. So obviously teaching at expos is a part of that. We are, like you said, that experience that you had with Cameron, that's really how we try to do everything. We really are a human first centered brand, especially where in fitness there tends to be a lot of toxicity and competitiveness. We really just try to focus on being good humans and just letting that trickle out into everything we do, even from how we're developing our products, to how we work with other people, how we communicate and collaborate with other people. We are very much interested in collaboration over competition. So I'm glad you had that experience because that means what we're doing is
I love
working.
that. I love that. Thank you for all that. Thank you for that. And we'll talk about your what you're going to be doing at Fitness Fest, and I'll go back to you for another question. So let us introduce you to Ali Christensen of Surge Fit, and let me tell you why I personally am excited to talk to Ali and to have her at Fitness Fest. So you have the Surge Strength and the Surge Fit format, and I'm going to let you talk a little bit more about that, of course, in a bit. But I have a personal love and feeling for Surge Strength in particular, because that is why I wanted you so bad, because I love this class. I love this format. It's total strength training with great music, full upper body, and it's something that all you bring out all the size weights. I always bring out the heavy ones. I never use them, but I bring them out anyways like the other kids. And the instructor great with cueing, great with the music. Like I said, it's a full body workout, and it's just a unique, I guess you could say, unique way to use all the weights and strength training. And then the instructor always offers options. And Sarah Harris, of course, is, connected me with you guys in particular. Of course, I've known you and your partner known of for many years and known of your format. But Sarah Harris was my instructor and was fabulous, and she said, hey, you got to talk to Janice. And so that is how we got on our Zoom meeting, and I convinced you to come back to Fitness Fest. And so tell us more about then you and mention, of course, your partner's name, which I can't think of right now, and then about Surge Fit and what provoked you to start this format, to start Surge Fit. Go ahead, Allie.
Awesome. Thanks, Janice. We're so excited to be back at Fitness Fest this year. Like she said, my name's Ali. I live in San Diego, and my business partner, Tracy Adams, she lives up in Washington State in the Seattle area. Tracy and I started Surge in 2020, and it started with our HIIT format, Surge Fit. So it's a cardio and weights. You alternate between cardio and weighted tracks. That was our first format. And then over the years, as we saw this development in the fitness industry of people really wanting weight training more than anything else, we created a second format called Surge Strength, which is what Janice is talking about. That's the class that Sarah Harris teaches down in Arizona that she loves so much. And it's an all weight training class. And prior to 2020, both Tracy and I have been in the industry for a long time. We've both taught various formats and done various things, but we felt like there was a gap in the market. There were lots of great HIIT classes or weight classes out there, but they were missing what we thought was an element of fun. And we wanted to bring choreography and great music to a HIIT format and to a weighted format. And so that's how Surge was born. We were piloting it in a big class in the big open gym at the YMCA up in Washington that was filled with 60 to 80 people of both men and women, aging in all age ranges, young to old. And we were piloting it, and it was being really well was received. And so in 2020, we decided to go for it. And it was right before COVID, and we got all of our content online, and we just went for it. So Surge Fit is a high intensity interval training class where we alternate cardio tracks and weighted tracks. All our tracks are choreographed to the beat of the music, but the choreography is very simple, easy to follow. There's modifications for every movement. We train our instructors well on how to provide modifications and how to adapt the class to the group of participants that's in front of them. And you have that alternating pattern of your heart rate gets really high during the cardio track, and then heart rate gets to recover while we train one muscle group at a time. And we only use dumbbells and mats. So that was another thing that we were finding, that a lot of classes required a lot of different types of equipment, and we wanted to create something that was safe and effective and fun, and only used dumbbells and mats so that it was accessible and affordable for both gyms and instructors individually. So that's what Surge Fit is. And then a couple years later, we rolled out Surge Strength, which is all strength training. You start with a warm-up track, and then you work one muscle group at a time, and depending on the length of the class, you usually get all your muscle groups twice through, and then you end with abs. It's also choreographed to the beat of the music. We have lots of functional and dynamic three-dimensional movement, which those dumbbells allow for, and that's what Surge Strength looks like. And we both Tracy and I have a huge passion for weightlifting in particular, and we love that this format has introduced a lot of new participants to weight training and had them fall in love with weightlifting, because as all of us know, it's so important, especially for women, which group fitness is a predominantly women-focused industry, and we've had so much feedback about how our formats have allowed people to fall in love with weight training and learned so much about how to weightlift. So that's how we came to be.
I love it. And I'm going to ask you one more thing. And I think everything is sort of, all these questions are combined, and we've got like multi answers for everything, because that's just the way it is. And I mean, us women are so passionate and excited about these formats and about getting the word out there about fitness and wellness. And it's just so important. And like you mentioned, women in particular, so important for strength training is so important. And what I love about the Surge Strength also is that it's, you work on one muscle group for just 4 or 5 minutes, and then you switch, because I get bored a little bit easy. So attention span, as many know about me. So and this is one of the reasons we have both these ladies on, is because WeGym has just such amazing dumbbells and kettlebells equipment, and Ali and Surge Fit and Surge Strength use weights in both these formats. And so WeGym is going to have, Surge Fit use that equipment. So I thought, oh, let's combine these two lovely ladies, who have a lot in common, and Surge Fit's going to use WeGym equipment. So one more thing, Ali, is, and you sort of answered it, but like, could you tell us the steps that led to your fruition? Because for God's sake, you started in COVID, and you
Yeah.
figured out online, and then a little bit, what happened next? Like, how did you become successful?
Yeah,
How
so
and
I,
why?
I think, I mean, I know COVID was challenging for everybody, and it obviously was challenging for us and just individually and personally. But in a lot of ways, the whole industry had to turn and pivot to online content where we just were able to start there. We just started online. That's where we
Mm,
put all our content online. We got a site up and running really fast. We were living in Washington State, which had really, really strict COVID restrictions.
yeah.
Our gyms
Yeah.
weren't open for a long, long time, so we were teaching outside in parking lots to our local community that we built up over the last several years. But yeah, we put all our content online, and we had this great group of about 10 instructors that took a chance on us in June of 2020, and we did a virtual certification, and they certified in our format. And actually two of those gals lived in Arizona, and so they were able to get their foot in the door with EOS Gym, right out the gate. We had instructors in EOS right away, and then that's also the gym that I teach for, because I moved to San Diego in August of 2020, and I was able to start teaching there right away as well, because we already had instructors in Arizona teaching at EOS. So there was, a series of events that were through personal connections and just kind of lucky in a lot
Yeah.
of ways in the very beginning, where we were able to get our foot in the door. And we really did feel confident in the quality of our instructor trainings, that it was going to produce quality instructors, and that the format could stand for itself, because all people had to do was try it, and they, for
We're
the
hooked.
most part, really like it. So we got a little bit lucky in the beginning, and we knew that the format could stand on its own once we had our foot in the door.
Oh, great. I love the story. Great. Back to you, Whitney. And if you really touched on it already about I'm going to ask you about the mission of the company, the mission of WeGym, about just the sense of community and women, and how Cameron is, authentic, and how you are authentic. But if you can further talk about the mission of the company.
Yeah, so we got started, I mean, similar to Ali, where we kind of saw this gap in the market. With Cami starting WeGym, as she wanted strength equipment for herself, looked around and everything is designed with such a masculine eye. All the strength equipment that you see, it's big, black, heavy, silver, which is fine. It still works and functions fine, but especially for people who care about what their things look like in their home, especially. That's where she kind of saw this gap in the market, that you can make strength equipment that functions really well, but also looks really beautiful in spaces like your home as well. It doesn't have to look ugly in the corner of your home. So that's kind of how like the idea of everything got started, especially aesthetically with our equipment. And again, designed kind of specific with strength training for women in mind. So even the way that we design our dumbbells down to the handles and the sizes of them. Is really built with, all hand sizes in mind, particular to women as well. So this year, what's really exciting, over the last year, we have had our safe grip dumbbells, which actually last week just won the Women's Health Award for Best Dumbbell of the Year. Which
Wow.
we're really excited about.
Oh,
So
that
yeah,
is
it's a really
awesome.
big deal for us. Um, and then what we'll be bringing to Fitness Fest is our brand new product, our Pro Grip dumbbells, which are designed more for studio settings, down to the way we designed our hanging racks. There's nothing worse than the group fitness room and the dumbbell area is just a mess. It's either bins and they're all jumbled together and you can't find what you need, and dumbbells are clanging together, like the coating
Mhm.
is falling off, like the storage salute, like it's just a mess. So our design team really went in and tried to fix all of those problems, and I think we did. I think we nailed it. So I'm super excited to be bringing that to Fitness Fest for Surge and for everybody to experience that. But yeah, as far as our mission, we really want, I mean, aside from the equipment that we produce, like you mentioned, the community aspect of what we do, we also love in-person fitness activations and events. It's the whole reason why we love group fitness, right? There is just something so empowering about being with a group of people that all look different, have different abilities, but you have this common goal that you're working towards, and you have this energy in the room that you just don't get anywhere else in any other setting. It's like magical. So we love that. And what we really want to do, whether it's the way our equipment is designed or how we want people to feel when they interact with WeGym, or if they're doing workouts on our WeGym Studio app, we want fitness to feel accessible. We really don't buy into like fitness is only for fit people. We really subscribe to no, fitness is for everybody. There's infinite entry points into fitness and getting started and be able to scale from there. So that's really just what we are trying to do from product design. We have instructor education opportunities coming down the pipeline as well, and some really exciting stuff. And it seems like it's resonating really well so far. Interesting little tidbit. We actually um, did not spend $1, and I'm being serious, $1 in paid advertisements in 2025. And we saw like 36x sales growth completely organically. And that was through word of mouth, collaborations, people sharing on social media, like celebrities sharing on social media. Like we would be texting each other, like, did you see Jessica Alba posted that she's using WeGym weights? Like
Wow.
crazy
Wow.
stuff without like spending anything. So for us, that was really like, okay, this is resonating with people. Like, aside from the way that looks and it functions beautifully, of course, but we hope it's deeper than that, that they kind of, their interaction with WeGym is a breath of fresh air in the fitness space. That's really what we're trying to do.
I love it. That is so exciting for you guys. And that says so much that you don't have to do paid advertising because they see it, they feel it, they like it, and that's it. That's that then it's
Hmm.
just like wow. And back to the whole connection thing, that we talked about in the beginning of our conversation and about the authenticness of you all, from Cameron. I don't want to say down because you guys are, together. It's no down or up, and
Right.
I could feel that when I talk to you guys. And I was laughing when you said about, well, two things. One about the bins. I'll speak to that first because I've got those, we've got those bins. And what drives me crazy is the students who throw them in there. It's like,
Oh yeah.
what? Like,
Hmm.
like, and then I'm laughing at my home gym and my mismatch of weights and how what an eyesore they look like, kind of thing. So need to get myself that as well. So uh, I think, and I know the comfort of holding the dumbbells is part of the design. This is kind of part of this next question. So, and you sort of already answered it, but if you have anything else to say, what makes We Gym weights and kettlebells unique?
Yeah, so aside from the grip, the safe grip obviously is super grippy, super soft on your hands to hold. But what really sets it apart is our square design of the end. So it's pretty common to see like the hexagon shape or even a round shape that actually really limits you in what you can do. Like if you're in a push-up on your dumbbells or renegade rows, even heel elevated squats, it just doesn't give you as much stability. So by having that square head, we actually have a patented design on our dumbbells. It just opens up way more options for you to be able to actually use them beyond just holding them in your hands. And then our soft kettlebells are filled with a iron sand and then inflated. So the idea with those is, not only if you're using them in your house, like they're not going to damage your floors or anything like that. But I think when it comes to accessibility, sometimes kettlebells especially can feel a little bit intimidating getting started with, especially like, it's this big heavy ball of iron and you're trying to use it. And if you're not quite sure, like the learning process of kettlebells is real and, bruises and all of that. So the idea behind the soft kettlebell is not only to function a little bit better, but just to be a little less intimidating when it comes to learning and using that particular piece of equipment, which is really, one of the classes or the workshops that I'm teaching at Fitness Fest, Kettlebells 101. So I'm a bell mechanics certified kettlebell coach. And is to really just break down basics of kettlebell movement and just getting people started with like the basic kettlebell swing and moving up from there just to build confidence around kettlebell work.
Awesome. Thank you, Whitney. And I'll come back to you about what workshop we'll close with what workshops you're teaching at Fitness Fest. And so, and Ali, of course, I'll ask you as well. But my next question for you, Ali, what we want to talk about is when you and Tracy and I were on the call this past summer, I was just so impressed and amazed that you're in a lot of different facilities. Tell us more about the different facilities you're in and the different states and how you got there.
Awesome, thanks. Just wanted to touch Whitney. I loved everything you said. All of those things you were talking about resonated. I love that you guys were designing with women in mind. That's something that we focus on too. And then your comment on the shape of the dumbbell, that is so true. Our gym just switched to round ones, and I was so bummed
You're
because
like, why?
I know there's so much movement that we do in Surge Fit that is
Yeah.
dependent on that. Like even if you're
Yeah.
pressing your weights together, like in a narrow chest press,
Hmm.
you don't get the
Yeah. You
same
set
muscle
it on the floor and
activation.
it just rolls away.
Totally. My weight rolls away between every track. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I can really appreciate that functional design. So, you guys, I can't wait to use your dumbbells at Fitness Fest. So, I'm excited about that. But to answer your question, we are in a couple of the bigger ticket gyms. We're in EOS and Vasa, predominantly Vasa in Utah. And then many YMCAs, which each YMCA association is different, like geographically, but that's where my business partner teaches up in Washington. But we're in various YMCAs across the country. And then a couple Lifetime Fitnesses if we get lucky with a manager there. And then lots of small studios and like boutique type studios. And then we have a lot of instructors that kind of take a more business minded approach, and they find a space that they rent and then they charge their own drop-in fee, so they kind of work as their own like manager in that way. So that's predominantly where we are right now. I personally teach at EOS, and I have for a long time, and then Tracy's taught for the YMCA Association up in the Puget Sound for like 15 years. So
Yeah, and I like when we talked, like I said, I was so impressed at how many different places you're at, and I love that certain instructors take the initiative to move to, I guess we could say the next level or a business sense of creating their own venue, creating their own, and
yes.
that's great, and that's part of what Fitness Fest is about. Is like let's learn business strategies, tips. Let's get some ideas, from the Surge Fits and the Whitneys of the world to like, how did we get here, and how can we be the best we can be? It's hard to make a living in the fitness and wellness industry. You ladies have, and I don't want to say got lucky on it because you didn't. It's not luck. It's connection, it's personality, and it's perser you know what the word I'm trying to say, and it's persistence and just like being in the right place at the right time. But a lot of that is not luck, it's connections, and you ladies have just an amazing job with it. Like Whitney, you said, well, all of a sudden I had a full-time job. Well, it's because they recognized your skill, your talent, your personality, all of those things. And Allie, you and
Probably
Tracy,
also a
and
little
what
bit of luck. A
we,
little bit.
yeah, we can go with that too. But yeah, and Allie, you and Tracy, and how you built this beautiful business, and you must be so proud as well. So that's just really cool. I love these stories. I want to finish up. We try to have these Zoom series. Next week we're talking to Robert Mitchell with Hydro Revolution. Same time, same back channel. So that'll be fun. That's Aqua. But we try to get about 30-35 minutes to respect everybody's time. We're all busy. And we think 30 minutes as far as the attention span is probably decent. So we're going to finish up with Whitney saying what you're teaching at Fitness Fest. And if you don't know, we put it in the chat. And if you probably don't know off the top of your head, but one of my staff can recite it if you'd like, or
Yeah, I
or
see
we
it in
can.
the chat there, so that's helpful. Yeah, so the strength equation, this one I'm super excited about because it's all about biomechanics of strength training. That's kind of a personal passion of mine. I'm a personal trainer as well, so really breaking down, especially around the hips and the shoulders, like all those muscles. Biomechanically, the most effective ways to train, particularly for hypertrophy or muscle growth. So that's really what that one will be based around. And then Siri is teaching one of our WeGym workouts, a fun bar workout. Siri, I think everybody in fitness knows Siri Shalazi. She's incredible. She's one of our app trainers, certified in everything you could ever imagine. So her workouts are always fun. And then, as I mentioned, the Kettlebells 101, which is really just a great opportunity if you yourself have been wanting to, learn the basics of getting started with kettlebells and then passing that information and knowledge onto the people you train or work with. Just a really good basis of understanding of kettlebell movement. So, yeah, excited for those.
Awesome. And we'll put the link to sign up in there. And Ali, we've listed yours here in the chat. If you, and in addition, which isn't listed here, is you're also doing an expo demo. And so we want to make sure that we know we get that word out too. I don't know if we know the exact time that we want to give you a really good time frame from that for that expo demo, but you'll be doing and I'll let you talk. So
Awesome. Yes, well, I'll be doing a Surge Fit class on Saturday at 7 a.m. So Surge Fit is the hit class, so high intensity interval training. You'll get the cardio and the weights, and then Surge Strength on Sunday morning, also at 7 a.m. That's the all weight training format, and then a quick expo demo, which will probably be Surge Strength, the weighted format. So yeah, we're really excited
right.
to show the formats. They're both very, very fun and a really great workout.
They are very fun, and it's going to be great for you ladies to meet in Whitney and Allie to meet in person, so that you
Yes.
can share the weights and talk more. It sounds like you guys are really resonating with each other, and have a lot of the similar backgrounds and passion for fitness and different formats and good strong women ties and women connections and just building our communities together. So I thank you both for your fabulous insights and these little interviews that we just did, and for hopping on during your busy schedules. And we really look forward to seeing you live and feeling and getting to the real passion when we come to Fitness Fest April 16th through the 19th in Phoenix, Arizona. So my other Whitney has put the link there. We're always, if you're not signed up for our emails, we only send one or two out a week. We don't inundate you, but we always have some really great blogs and information, just content for you guys, because just learning and growing as fitness professionals and just really trying to be the best that we can be so we can serve our communities, our clients, and our students. And I think that's why we're in it, because we love it and we love to make a difference. And I know that Ali and Whitney are both making a big difference. So we're glad that we can use the weights together at Fitness Fest. Did I miss anything? Any closing thoughts from anybody who's live who would like to say anything in the chat, and we can unmute you, or anything from my team that I have missed? Well, all right. I guess we got a lot done here in a short amount of time. I love it. Do you believe it? 35, almost 35 minutes. I'm so impressed with all of us. Yes. All
We did
right.
it.
We did it. Yeah. Just gonna check the chat real quick, make sure we don't see anything. Girls, do we see anything? Oh, there we go. We got the schedule. Nope. Okay. All right. We are going to stop recording and say goodbye to everybody. Thank you so much. See you
Thank you,
soon,
Thank you
I
so
Marissa.
hope.
much.
Looking
Okay,
forward to
bye.
Bye.
Fest.